Hello and welcome to Com 404, Principles of Persuasion. In this brief video lecture, we transition from a focus on theories of persuasion to an emphasis on the context in which persuasive campaigns might occur. In this first series, we'll focus on social marketing campaigns. To briefly define a social marketing campaign, it might be helpful to think about the way that traditional marketing uses various different strategies and appeals to get its customer base to purchase a product. Similarly, as we transition into thinking about social marketing, we'll be talking about the way that those same strategies and tactics might be used, but not to sell a product, instead to sell ideas. To overview today's lecture, we'll move through in three parts. The first will be to define some of the characteristics that distinguish social marketing campaigns. To do that, we'll look at a number of examples of successful and memorable social marketing campaigns. Secondly, we'll talk about how we might think about previous models of persuasion and develop them with an emphasis on the social context that's informed by something like social marketing or the most recent lecture on social identity theory. Third and finally, we'll discuss how we might apply elaboration likelihood modeling to better understand social marketing campaigns and the various different contexts that they occur in. So first, if we seek to ask ourselves, what is social marketing? You might note from the text that you've read, there are a number of different definitions that define or otherwise characterize social marketing. However, I'll use this term here to set us up with one that might ground us for future assignments and discussion. Notably, Black and Harvey in 1976, in their foundational work defining social marketing, describe it as simply the application of commercial marketing concepts to social endeavors. And when we talk about social endeavors, we're talking about making propositions of fact or value more likely than propositions of policy that otherwise seek to change people's attitudes or behaviors. In this sense, you might think about campaigns to end bullying or otherwise encourage better nutrition as examples of social marketing campaigns. A social marketing campaign involves the design, coordination, and control of programs which seek to make ideas either more socially acceptable or otherwise more socially desirable. Perhaps you're familiar with the iconic Smokey the Bear campaign. Well, the Smokey the Bear campaign is a successful example of a social marketing campaign precisely because you're able to recall not only its iconic characterization, but also its message and meaning. Of course, you know that Smokey the Bear stands for different ways that individuals can act to prevent forest fires. And so in this sense, Smokey the Bear serves not as a product icon or logo, not as something to sell you an object, but instead as something to encourage you to remember an idea that's sponsored and encouraged by various different forestry organizations, the United States government, and state and local organizations which seek to prevent wildfire. While the Smokey the Bear campaign is a bit of a dated example, there are, of course, a number of social marketing campaigns that continue in our contemporary society. Perhaps you're familiar with some that seek to challenge various different beauty standards or otherwise challenge different representations we have of race in our society. One of the images here is from the To Write Love on Her Arms social marketing campaign, which seeks to create social awareness and prevention regarding suicide. The other image you see says "Stop the Beauty Madness" and seeks to challenge various different representations of beauty in the media. So as you're thinking about contemporary social marketing campaigns that you might write about for your upcoming fact campaign paper and associated outline assignment, you might consider various different advocacy organizations that have assembled not to promote an organization or a product, but rather have sought to promote an idea. Here, in the examples you see surrounding me, are a number of images that were created by the city of Boston in a social marketing campaign designed to reduce ageism. These campaigns use the hashtag #AgeStrong to otherwise create awareness of the possibility for elderly individuals to lead happy, healthy, successful, and of course full lives which contribute to the society in a way that should discourage any sorts of intolerance or prejudice. While we've now examined a number of successful examples of social marketing campaigns, it should be noted that campaigns like the Dove Campaign for True Beauty or Chipotle's Campaign for Food with Integrity, those types of campaigns don't constitute social marketing campaigns. Instead, those are classified as corporate social responsibility campaigns. Corporate social responsibility campaigns are produced for profit, but not with the emphasis of an underlying product, but to build associations with the brand that otherwise lead to brand loyalty and brand affinity. So of course a brand like Chipotle seeks to claim food with integrity and make arguments about its capacity to get fair trade workers or otherwise free sourced and effectively sourced foods. And a company like Dove would seek, as a result of designing things like shampoos and beauty products, to proclaim that gray is gorgeous or otherwise try to challenge beauty standards in ways that are acceptable to their bottom line and profit potential. In these regards, they still act in some sense to sell a product and wouldn't be social marketing campaigns, but would more effectively be classified as corporate social responsibility campaigns. So as the overlap between corporate social responsibility campaigns and social marketing campaigns illustrates, there are some real close similarities between social marketing and traditional marketing. We might note how both require a considerable focus on things like product planning, pricing, communication strategies, the distribution or reach of your communication, your audience, and the various different market research you might need to do to reach that audience. Additionally, we might also note that both social marketing campaigns and traditional marketing campaigns utilize a various different focus on the way that parties, sender and receiver, are engaged in a reciprocal exchange. In this sense, both marketing, in the traditional sense, and social marketing focus on the way that persuasion occurs through a transaction between two or more parties who are each having something of value for one another. In one context, it might be money for a product. In the other context, it's buy-in for an idea that contributes to a movement or a broader campaign for social change. Additionally, we might note how both involve some sense of controversy over the jurisdiction by which these exchanges occur. In this sense, there's the exchange value of who gets to open up shop where, and in the context of social marketing, it's what ideas are dominant there, and how do we otherwise influence individuals who might have oppositional dominant ideas. In this sense, we have to encourage individuals to think about what's in it for them. In the context of a product, there might be some return on investment or buy now, save later, but in the context of an idea, there might be some sense that buying into that idea provides you some economic or financial benefit for your future or your family, or facilitates a better society in which you would want to be a part of, some sort of a values-based emphasis. And so in this sense, both marketing and social marketing are consistently thinking about customers and the way they address publics, whether those publics be technical and limited publics, or whether those publics be broad publics. So social marketing challenges the concepts of traditional marketing and in many ways stretches the definition of what we might think to be marketing beyond simply a product into the realm of ideas. A broader definition of marketing might recognize that marketing concepts can and should be used to explain phenomenon if and when they're useful. In this sense, we might think about the way that marketing can be applied to both traditional and corporate contexts, but also things like nonprofit or governmental organizations, and things like individual advocacy representatives who choose to take on a protest or a social change organization in ways that might lead to a positive and profound opportunity for others. Social change campaigns, in this sense, broaden marketing to include new ways that aren't necessarily related to economics, but otherwise improve social welfare for all. You might think about some examples you could choose to write about for the upcoming FAT campaign paper.